Well, welcome. This is Markus Termin at the 31st of July 2024. The moon is in the sign of Gemini while the sun is in the sign of Leo. That's a sextile combination that's basically harmonic. Though we have to have a clear view on the chart at the same time. Up there in the sign of Gemini, there's a whole lot of power. It's the moon, it's Jupiter blowing up everything, and it's Mars being the warrior of words at the same time. Of course, repeating myself, dissolving structures down here, Neptune retrograde, Saturn retrograde, and also Mercury, though he's very strong in his own sign Virgo, he's preparing for retrogradness at the 5th of August. So things are getting slow and we're already starting to witness miracles in our daily life. Things like machines, printers, trying to order something. It doesn't happen smooth the way it wanted. It's slowed down, it's retarded, and it gets slower and slower with Mercury in Virgo at the same time. I want to have a special look at this stellium in the sign of Gemini, Mars, Moon and Jupiter. Pretty often it's an interesting thing to have a look at who does have a Mars in the sign of Gemini. Let's change the chart now and go over to the chart of the company of X, formerly known as Twitter. Now inside of that you have the foundation chart of Twitter, and you can realize that Twitter has a Mars in Gemini, which is perfect for a tweet thing, just exchanging a few words. And as you can see, Twitter is on a high support just now of Jupiter, of the Moon and of Mars. Also the time in October 2022 when Mr. Musk transferred the 44 billion to buy Twitter, Mars was in the sign of Gemini at the same time. But as you can see from the foundation of the company, back in the old days, it's not that long ago, Twitter has also the moon in the sign of Sagittarius together with Pluto. So there's the input of having some wisdom too at the same time. In fact, Mars information and wisdom are struggling with each other. And those of you who are in the stock exchange business and things like that, have a look at Twitter's sun in the sign of Aries. Something is going to happen with Twitter as soon as Neptune and Saturn will move in the sign of Aries. This is going to be a new, how do you say that? The company has to invent itself new at that dates 2025, 2026. Also, you might realize, because this is the chart of today, that the moon node of the foundation of Twitter just is returning to the sign of Aries. Twitter is an Aries thing, Aries in between Pisces and Aries, that's the thing. And that's not a bad position for a company that puts on the flag information. Those of you using Twitter, though, might have realized that freedom of speech is not freedom of reach, So you can even do the censorship more effectively and people won't even know. And I think this is one of the promises Mr. Musk had to give to those Five Eye companies, to say, well, listen to me, we have algorithms, we can just do censorship without people even knowing they have censorship. And that's what a lot of people trying to get a voice on Twitter are witnessing throughout the day. So this is one of the important questions. The legacy media is dying by numbers. We can't look in any newspaper anymore because we get false news, actually fake news. Then Twitter jumped into that position and said, we're going to give you real information, but Twitter turned out to be a manipulative giant thing, it's like a mirror's cabinet, a reflecting cabinet. By the algorithm, you just get your own bubble constructed being around you, putting you into the illusion that you have some company out there to share your meaning. And what really happens is you're just being kind of encaged in your own ego reflection. This is what Twitter does, and this is very effectively. So in the future, I'm afraid, this is my personal meaning, though Twitter alias X has this Mars Moon opposition on the information axis, which is not a bad thing, but I'm afraid I think we will have to reinvent public information somehow, because otherwise we won't have any. We just have some flashy papers that put out some pseudo news. Back in the old days when it was really fun to sit in a cafe, and have 2 or 3 well done papers to examine what's really going on in the world, and you had investigative journalists and reporters who would travel the world and were really seeking for the truth. This is long gone, and there's a desert of information that was being put in place of that long gone cultural, highly evolved position of the informed West. We're just not anymore, sadly. Anyhow, my take on the day is, as you have Mars and Jupiter, and let's get back to the daily chart. It's basically harmonic, as I said, but the pure information is maximum over exaggerated. That means the information itself is kind of nothing without somebody who puts a sense to it. And what is the sense of information? That you will find in Jupiter, but Jupiter himself is in the sign of Gemini. He's stranger there, he's not at home, he's not strong, so that's not really the way to go. Anyhow, enjoy the day of the sextile. They're just getting the sky covered again here where I am. We had 2 free days in the skies. Now it's just covering up in lines again, like we're used to it. Keep watching this channel. I'm happy to have you as a watcher here. This is Markus Termin, Astrologisches Stundenbuch. If you want to get in contact, use this mail address up here, and down there at my blog site you will find the conditions for a consultation. Whoops, something fell down. Not important.